Thank you very much. Thank you. And thank you, Haaretz, for this courageous invitation for me. It's true, they're courageous to invite me nowadays. Usually, Palestinians are quoted as sources, unidentified, informed. But I have to say in front of you, thanks to Amira Hass, Akiva Aldar, Aluf Ben, Barak Ravid, Jack Houry, Gideon Levy, who at least have the courage to allow me to tell my story. Because I'm sick and tired of people trying to tell my story. And thank you for allowing me to tell my story. Last week, my nephew, Mazen, 37 years old, father of 4, the oldest is Hanan, 7 years old, was shot and killed in Hizma checkpoint. Prime Minister criticized me for attending his funeral. He's my nephew. And I don't know how that the job we're trying to do in making peace is exactly to save lives of Israelis and Palestinians. And when every day we bury our loved ones, our nephews, daughters, grandsons, it's for one thing, it's our failure to achieve peace. It's our failure to achieve a two-state solution. These are the same people I promised in 1991 that through negotiations, peace, void of violence, will bring you to your dignity, your freedom, to live as normal as anyone can be. It's a very unfortunate story. And today, as I stand in front of you, I can tell you very frankly that your conference is titled Peace Conference. I don't dare talk about peace, but I want to address the Prime Minister of Israel, Mr. Netanyahu, maybe to congratulate him in his success in destroying the culture of persuasion, the culture of negotiations, the culture of dialogue, the culture of peace. If this is an achievement you thought you got, walk us through the day after. You're destroying the two-state solution. You are trying to establish one state, two systems, apartheid, because today in the West Bank, in East Jerusalem, there are roads I cannot use as a Palestinian. I know that he has a mighty military power. I know that if his vote against mine in the Congress and the Senate in this country, I don't stand a chance. But what do we have? I have never felt for a minute that I was doing Israelis a favor when I sat and negotiated with them. I was doing myself the favor. Achieving peace and achieving the two-state solution is the most cardinal interest for the Palestinian people, and that is the truth. And I hope and pray that one day there will be in Israel those who, when they sit with me, they don't feel like they're doing me a favor. They don't test me. They don't doubt me. They don't tie my hands and legs and throw me to the sea and then tell people, oh, he's not swimming, he's not a partner, or he's drowning, he's no good. We are destined to live side by side. I can assure you that Christian and Muslim Palestinians will not convert to Judaism and become Israelis, and Jews will not convert to Christianity and Islam and become Palestinians. That is the truth. So, those who want to succeed in destroying the two-state solution, what are you going to do with me? What are you going to do with me? My people say one-state solution. There is no such a thing as a one-state solution. A solution, by definition, requires two parties. Israel cannot be and will never be a party to a one-state solution. So if they don't want two states on the 1967 lines, and they don't want one secular democratic state, what's the option out there is what he said to Kerry last week, to John Kerry. Last week, Benjamin Netanyahu said that Israel will not be a binational state. Of course, in his dictionary, it will be one state, two system. It will be the apartheid regime he's creating and institutionalizing in the West Bank and East Jerusalem. In 1993, when we began the negotiations, there were 200,000 settlers. Today, there are 600,000 settlers in the territory that's supposed to be the Palestinian state. I don't understand why people are angry when we're traveling the world trying to have the state of Palestine join international organizations. I cannot comprehend why the United States object to us going to the Security Council to put a resolution specifying that the end game is the state of Palestine to live side by side the state of Israel on the 1967 lines. Why did they close the doors of the Security Council in front of me? Look, we may not be able to achieve the two-state solution today or next year, but mark my words, Palestinians and Israelis have no option but the option of a two-state solution, and this will come. My constituency is the Jordan Valley. We're 600 square kilometers. We're 70,000 people, the largest in geography, the smallest in population. We have 5,000 settlers and 37 agriculture settlements. Their net profit of their colonial regimes last year stood at almost $500 million. The biggest palm farms, alligator lakes, turkey for the Thanksgiving of the West, and so on, and so on, and so on. And today, in 2015, we are a people of almost less than $2,000 per capita. When I need water to quench the thirst of Aqaba Jabal refugee camp, the most poverty-stricken area on earth, I buy my own water from the Israelis, my own water at $1 a cubic meter. We have choices. We can't go in accordance with some politicians who believe that ignoring facts could mean it doesn't exist. But facts are facts. And we welcome the European Union's decision to label the settlement products. This is Palestinian territory, Palestinian water, Palestinian natural resources. We're your neighbors. Stop this colonial regime. Stop the suffocation of Palestinians. Hadrian in Great Britain 5,000 years ago tried to have security by walls. He failed. No walls have ever provided security. Reach to us. Reach to the Palestinians, and I'm speaking to all Israeli politicians. Stand tall, tell them, you are our neighbors, and Israel should recognize the state of Palestine before any other country on earth. If you say two states, you need to recognize the two states and not one state. And that's the truth. That is the truth. We have recognized the state of Israel's right to exist and live in peace and security on the 1967 lines. This stands. We accepted to negotiate, and for 23 years, I have done nothing but trying to achieve a two-state solution. I'm not saying that we're mistake-free people. We commit mistakes, maybe an abundance of mistakes, but not because we wake up in the morning and say we're going to commit the following mistakes today. We're a very young authority. We're crawling. Sometimes it's so difficult for me to distinguish between freedom of expression and incitement, and that is the truth. We commit mistakes not because we want to commit mistakes, but we're learning. We have a long process ahead of us, and we know that a Palestinian state, when it comes, is going to have to be one authority, one gun, and the rule of law. And Hamas is a Palestinian political party, and they must understand that when we differ, we resort to ballots and not bullets. And if we're going to have a Palestinian state, it's going to be one authority, one gun, and the rule of law, and this is on us. Now, I hear many Israeli politicians say we withdrew from Gaza and we got 15,000 missiles. We withdrew from Lebanon and we got this. You also made peace with Egypt and Jordan. A peace between Jordan and Egypt was bilateral and stood the test of all times. Unilateral in Gaza, unilateral in South Lebanon, failure. Unilateralism will fail. You have a partner with the Palestinians. You have a partner on the basis of a Palestinian independent state on the 1967 lines with East Jerusalem as its capital. You have a partner in achieving a solution to all core issues as specified in the Oslo Accords. And you will never gonna find a partner in Palestine who will accept to be in the one-state, two system, in the apartheid. Palestine may have some limitations on its military, its arms, but Palestine will never accept limitation on its dignity and honor and the dignity of its national cause and its people. There is a difference between limitations on arms and limitations on our dignity. The era of negotiations, of two bilateral negotiations brokered by the US, is over. Status quo, no more. We're about to begin implementing the decisions of the Palestine Central Council, defining Israel's relation. We've been talking about this for a while. Our credibility may be touched by not implementing, but we listened to our friends who asked us to give them a chance. And in this podium, I'd like to tell you that President Obama and Secretary Kerry have done everything humanly possible to achieve the two-state solution. Just like me, they were foiled by Benjamin Netanyahu and his government. I think what we need in the future, the whole world is interested in us. The European Union, the BRICS, the Chinese, the Russians, Quartet, the Arabs, and we should define a clear end game, two states on the 1967 lines, time frame, and let the whole world help us achieving this. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. Especially that today in the Arab world, you see what's going on in Syria, Yemen, Libya, Iraq. What's happening in the Arab world today, if you know some history, it's exactly what happened in Europe in 1848. March 15th, 1848, Chancellor Metternich had to flee his palace with horses and carts after 3 weeks of heavy demonstrations. It took Europe 90 years for the dust to settle down. It will take Arabs 30 to 50 years. It's very unfortunate, very unfortunate. But as far as ISIS is concerned, these people have nothing to do with my religion, Islam. These people are criminals and thugs. But I haven't seen any society in the history of man that was able to kill ideas with bullets, arrows, and swords. Ideas, bad ideas, need better ideas to defeat them. To defeat ISIS, we need two things. One is democracy in the Arab world. And anyone who says Arabs are not ready for democracy is a racist. Arabs deserve good governance, transparency, accountability, women's rights, human rights, the rule of law. That is the truth. And that's the essence of defeating evil ideas. And secondly, peace between Palestinians and Israelis. It's the combination of the title of your conference, peace and democracy. That's how we can defeat ISIS. ISIS, in our history as Muslims, is number 803. I researched them. As Muslims, we're supposed to go to mosques. We're supposed to go and worship God and not use God. And I want to warn for one thing. Our conflict with Israel is a political one. And we should confine it to the politics. Judaism, to me, is not a threat. Judaism is one of God's great religions, like Christianity and Islam. And that is the honest truth. And to Mr. Netanyahu, when we poison our minds, our culture, such diseases as bigotry and racism, once we began exporting fear to our people, it inflicts underneath our skin. And bigotry and racism, no one is immune to. It's been justified, sometimes sociological reasons, psychological reasons, economic reasons, sexual reasons, and now security reasons. What's the difference between a thug and a murderer who slit the throat of a Western journalist in Iraq or Syria, or between a thug and a murderer who burns Ali Dawabshe, an 18-month toddler in Douma? That is the truth. Our conflict is a political one. And the day will come when we will achieve our two-state solution. Our two-state solution is the only option for the state of Palestine to live side by side the state of Israel in peace and security. I don't want to export fear. I don't want to talk about demography. I don't want to talk about anything, because I know that peace between nations, between neighbors, is motivated also always by interests. I do not think of any cardinal interest to Palestinians and Israelis more than achieving the two-state solution, where the state of Palestine on the 1967 lines with East Jerusalem as capital can live side by side in peace and security. Please, don't give up on this option. Giving up on this option would mean only one thing. It would mean that we as parents and grandparents, Palestinians and Israelis, will continue taking our loved ones to the cemeteries. Please, let us live normally. Let us pray that our sons will take us to the cemeteries. Thank you very much.